throwaway time. What's your secret that could literally ruin your life if it came out? 2.5 years ago I was in dire financial straits, so I sold my home to keep my struggling business afloat. I neglected to tell the owners that they have an 800 square featuring bunker on the property that I built about 7 years ago. The bunker that I've called home since I sold it. The entrance to it is well hidden, but I still come and go very early, very late in the day. I'm a single man who keeps to himself. I'm now in a situation where I could move somewhere else, but I love this hidden paradise so much. I run a cake business. I charge people hundreds for wedding cakes. Every last one is made using Pillsbury cake mix I buy $4 a box at Walmart. I suck at baking. Every time I've ever tried to make a cake from scratch it sucked. But baking is like my whole deal. My friends all call me the cake girl. It's like my whole life is a lie. People compliment my cakes all the time, telling me how delicious they are, telling me it's so much better than box mix cake, telling me they could never bake a cake so delicious. Well, guess what? For $1, they too can make a cake just as delicious. Just add oil, eggs and water. In my defense, I love cake decorating. I make all of the frostings and fondant from scratch. I just hate baking fricking cakes. I base my prices mostly on the decoration of the cakes and not of the cake itself, if that makes sense. Still, no one knows about this except my husband. Even my best friends think I fricking slave over the oven mixing and baking these damn cakes. I have been doing this for years. If anyone knew, my business and reputation would be in the toilet for sure. I keep telling myself I have to learn how to make the damn cakes without the box mixes, but I never do it. I feel like such a sham sometimes. How does Walmart not notice you pushing a cart out with hundreds of boxes of $1 cake mix? Well, I'm a home-based business, so I usually at most am buying 10-20 boxes at a time. I usually line the bottom of the cart with cake mix and then put all my other stuff on top, like 10 bags of powdered sugar. Then I use the self-checkout in shame and stack the boxes in my black canvas shopping bags. My worst fear is running into someone I know, or worse yet, whoever the cake is for, while I'm there with all these boxes of cake mix. That's why I act all shady about it, lol. I personally think this is a brilliant business model, but why not send your husband for the cake mix? Might not be feasible all the time, but it would save on the possibility of being caught. Okay, so this is a secret I've kept for nearly 20 years. During the summers when I was growing up, my parents would often leave my brother and I'm male, with our aunt and uncle who lived out in the country. It was great as they had 4 sons of ages close to ours, so we had a lot of fun doing kids stuff. One summer when I was 8, the oldest cousin was maybe 16. We somehow got talking and he asked me if I wanted to sleep in his room that night. He has the nicest room and bed, so I was all for it. Got into bed and he asked if he could touch my peanuts. I was 8 and just thought it was okay, so I'll let him. He rubs it for a bit and then asks me to do the same to him. So I do. This progresses and eventually I'm sucking his cock. I think I knew this was wrong, so I said I didn't want to carry on. We stop and I go to sleep quite confused. I wake up and he hands me some money and tells me never to tell anyone about what happened. Next night he tries to do the same thing. But now all I care about is the money. So I do it. This carried on for 2 summers. Eventually I got old enough to realize it was quite wrong regardless of the money and stopped. I've not told anyone this. He's now married with 2 kids. I'm also married and we see them sometimes at family events. I don't have the balls to even try and talk to him about it. Hell, I'm not even sure what I'd say. I'm sure this will get buried, but just getting it off my chest makes me feel better. God, the too long didn't read just wrapped it up so beautifully. Shakespeare would be envious. I once helped out my female friend's family by taking care of their cat for a week. Every day for a week, I would go over there and snoop around their house. I found my friend's diary and proceeded to read the entire thing. I used this information to get her to like me, and she is currently my wife. This is literally the juiciest secret in this thread for some reason. Not totally bland. but not overly obscene. Probably, because this is something I could actually picture any person doing if given the chance. I agree. It is not particularly evil, but it is a misdeed that completely altered that guy's life. Honestly, it sounds like a pitch for a mediocre romantic comedy. Guy manipulates girl into liking him. They fall in love. Girl finds out what guy did. They break up. Guy wins girl back. Credits roll. I feel like I've seen this movie already. I don't want to be with my girlfriend anymore, but she might have cancer and I feel like I need to stay in the relationship. Whoa, man, that is rough. It definitely is. Unfortunately, my girlfriend through high school's mum passed away from brain cancer when we were 18, so I have some coping strategies and experience with this already. To clarify, the girlfriend from high school is different from the girl I am dating now. Everyone thinks I have a good job and roommates, but I've been homeless and a prostitute for over a year. There have been a lot of rumors about prostitutes who ultimately worked their way out of the business. I hope things get better for you too. I once took a shit in the bathtub and then realizing what a horrible mistake I'd made, I flung poo into a hole in the wall. My parents renovated and patched up the hole. So now there is a circa 15-year-old turd in between the bathroom and kitchen wall of my childhood home. Not even using a throwaway, because I have no shame. The telltale poop. The poop of Amontillado. You're awesome, dude. Needed a laugh after reading everything above. I hate all of my friends. Literally. I don't have anything in common with any of them, and don't care. But I'm too scared to be alone and have no one else to go to, so I keep hanging around with them. I honestly can't think of a single person that I genuinely enjoy being around. There are moments, sure, but I'm faking it most of the time. I feel cold and heartless when I think about it, but I really don't like people. At all. And yet I'm lonely. Scumbag brain. Damn it. Well, it's more of a secret to my friends that I've made recently. Some background first. I don't like being touched or hugged, and I'm incredibly uncomfortable with intimacy in general. When I was in the 8th grade, a bunch of girls in my class convinced me they had a friend who fancied me. They said she had seen me somewhere and thought I was cute. Faked a MSN account and they talked to me every night for a few months. Invited me out to the movies and, obviously, didn't show up. Then revealed to the whole grade that I had been tricked into having an imaginary girlfriend. I was mocked viciously by everyone in the grade, and ever since then I can't really trust women. I also can't believe that a girl may have feelings for me. Even when they explicitly tell me they have feelings for me, I can't help but feel like they're trying to trick me. It's caused a lot of insecurity, and I can't get attached to people easily. I'm terribly afraid to text or message people first, because I'm convinced I would be annoying them. What's worse is that when I think about it, I know it probably isn't true, but I can't help but feel like it is. Even though it was grade 8, it was around the time when attraction to women was just starting to get real, so to be hurt at a time as delicate as that has really done some damage. The secret, of course, is that I had been dumb enough to be tricked. As you might suspect, the whole thing has left me afraid of being vulnerable. To have this found out by my newer friends, as in, university friends, would put me in a really uncomfortable place. I probably wouldn't be able to be their friend anymore. Thanks for reading. You're the first people I've told about what this event has actually done to me. I have been pretending to be colorblind to everyone I have ever known, including my own parents, since I was in 3rd grade. I am now 28 years old. I even convinced an optometrist of it. Before your death, are you going to make your last words? Fooled you? Bertha, you see that apple there? It's red eyes. Of all names. Bertha? This isn't necessarily something that could ruin my life, but it could ruin many others. I haven't told anyone before. My father recently went to prison for white-collar crime that he pleaded guilty to. He didn't commit this crime, but the alternative was fighting a highly sensationalized, media-obsessed, scapegoat case and potentially getting 20+ years. While he was in prison, I read his little blue book, which I knew contained all the missteps of everyone he's worked with. He has always been an extremely scrupulous man, So these offenses were something he took seriously enough to note. I have information on countless state employees, incredibly prominent and wealthy community members, numerous elected city, state officials, and police officers. This information could ruin lives and start political controversy. My father is an incredible man and is not vengeful whatsoever. He will never use any of this info against these people, despite the fact that most completely turned on him and stayed uninvolved at all costs or started pointing fingers. When I picture my aging father sitting in a maximum security jail cell sleeping on a metal sheet without a mattress, he wasn't given one until his 5th night. I am filled with rage for these people who could have stood up for their friend and prevented this, while he still continues to be loyal. I still haven't decided which campaigns, if any, I'm going to ruin in the upcoming elections. Please expose these people. They could potentially have a hand in running the country, so just imagine how many more lives they could ruin. Can you start a thread where you post bits of information about it? I would upvote the shit out of that. With my real account and this one. Think of the 2 upvotes. Dude. You owe your father this. I'm not saying put it on Reddit, but I've been in jail. It's freaking hellish. You're treated like shit. The worst kind. Fudge that. Germanic style. These arseholes are probably teeing off on the back 9 somewhere without a care in their mind. Your father is doing time. First time telling anyone this. This thread is so deep that probably no one will see, but if one person does see it, it'll feel better. I am basically living a lie. I told my entire family I was able to transfer out of community college and into a university, but I never finished up the requirements. So since I live at home, every day, instead of going to school I go to the local library and BS. My lies are so extensive. I even go to the campus and meet my girlfriend for lunch sometimes. I've made fake transcripts to show my family, and to make it look like I'm actually studying I go to MIT Open Coursera to look up facts that I learned in class that day. I have become a remarkable liar. I hope to be transferring in the fall and then I look forward to living a normal life. Coming clean is not an option at this point. By now you should realize that this isn't as rare or as unusual as you think. College is a huge undertaking and the pressure to do well is incredible. I blew my last semester and didn't tell anyone. I scammed my way into walking at graduation and bluffed my way into alumni events. I told everyone, worst of all myself, that this was a technicality and I did actually graduate. I ended up missing out on a dream job, even after I aced the very difficult interview, because I had lied on my resume about my education. But guess what? I fixed it. I scraped up the money and I went back to school. For various reasons it cost me almost 10 grand and I spent 20 hours a week or more traveling for 6 months. I had to return in person to my school 300 miles away, while still working full time. But I finished, and it's no longer a secret. I came clean with myself and stopped lying about it, and I felt like I had finally come up for air after holding my breath for years. It was amazing. Need more? This isn't even a throwaway. Good luck, dude. Get it together. I've been there. I transferred, and never had to come clean. Just prepare for shit to be different once you're actually enrolled in classes once again. Hey bud, I've been there and it gets better. I swear. PM me if you need to talk.